Hey love, and welcome to another video. If you're new here, I am Pauline, your virtual life educator. I am going to be talking to you about taking down locks. So if you want to learn more about taking down locks, understanding how to take it down, and to see the best tool to take the locks down with, stick around, okay? I'm going to show you all of it, okay? So, all right, love, so let's get straight into it. I'm going to give you some tips to consider before taking down your locks, and then we'll go into the technique part, right? Okay. All right, y'all with me? Okay. So let me pull up my notes so I don't forget. And even then, it's probably not even everything. But anywho, all right, when you get ready to take down your locks, consider the size, right? Consider the size of your locks. The thicker your locks are, the more you will retain, the more hair you will retain. The thinner it is, if you're not very cautious, you might not have much hair left on your head, okay? I had to help a loctician friend with a lock takedown, and the person's locks, a little bit bigger, not to exaggerate, but a little bit bigger than a size of a needle. There's the tool. This is the tool I'm gonna talk to you guys about as far as lock takedown. This person's hair was no thicker than this. So, of course, her hair grew and she thought she was gonna keep the majority of her length, and that was not the case. So when you have thin locks like that, baby, you're not gonna keep, don't expect to keep the majority of the length, okay? And don't think you're gonna have the thickness that you have with the hair. So yeah, think about that. The thicker it is, the better, because one, it's not as small, so you're not pulling too much, but just keep that in mind when you're taking down locks, okay? So whether your locks are thin or thick, you're still going to lose a lot of hair because your hair has been shedding. Going into the shedding, your hair, the reason why you're able to retain length when you lock your hair is that the hair that sheds is matted into the lock, and it's kind of interwoven with the strands that is still attached to your scalp. So your hair is able to grow, shed, and the hair that's still attached to your scalp is able to hold on to the strands of the hair that has shedded in the lock. So you're able to retain length over time, even when you don't really do much, maintenance or caring for your locks, okay? So keep in mind, when you comb out your hair, you will have a lot of shedding. A lot of the hair that shed will come out, okay? So next, we want to move into the practices. Be mindful of the type of practices that's taking place as far as technique and everything that's taking place in your hair, because if somebody's been cutting to create neat parts in your locks, if somebody's been grooming your locks, cutting the strands of hairs that's kind of straight away from your lock, if you've been doing that, let's say your hair is really matted and they cut, to separate, which, sometimes it needs to be. If someone's using a razor to create parts in your lock, or cutting, the base of your hair to create clean parts in your lock, keep in mind that those practices, if you were to comb out your locks, it will show in your hair. So all that, the hair that, you not only have hair that's shedding daily, but you also have the hair that are the strands that are purposely being cut just to create a look that you want. So now you go and say, okay, well, 2 years down the line, I don't want no more locks. I'm done with locks. Locks ain't for me, or whatever reason why you might decide to comb out your locks. Then when you go to comb out your locks, all the strands that's been snipping away, all the grooming you've been doing around your locks, all the cutting you've been doing to create that part, all that hair is still in the lock. So now you're thinking, I got inches, I got hair, and clean underwear. You thinking you got all that, and then you go to comb out and you're like, wait a minute, why am I losing more than I expected? Because those practices, the things that you've been doing or someone's been doing, that hair, although you got the clean parts, although you got the nice groomed strand of lock, your hair will end up being very uneven and very choppy. Now, don't get me wrong, your hair shedding daily, your hair is going to be uneven when you comb your locks out anyways, but it'll be extra uneven. Not only that, it'll be very uneven, it'll be very choppy. Like when we comb out this person's locks, oh my God, there were patches. You had hair at the base, but the lock was skinny. So the technique is really important too. Child, if your locks ain't healthy, and you like, I want to comb them out, just cut them off. Find out what inch is a good healthy point and just cut, because you go and waste all this time combing out the stuff. Your hair isn't healthy. It's so choppy. You have lots of breakage. So be mindful of that, okay? So when you're going to cut your locks, right? If your ends are solid, closed, solid, shut, there's no loose hair, there's nothing at the end, it's okay to snip that bunching, that locked, that closed part of the hair. It's okay to snip it and then take it out, right? So cut it and then start taking down your locks. The next thing you want to do is comb out your locks while it's wet. You don't always have to do it when it's wet, but before we move on, while this is on my mind because it's not on my list, if you have color, let me clarify. If you have bleached your hair, don't comb out your locks. Just cut. If you're ready to get rid of your locks and you got bleached hair, like bleached blonde, I'm not talking about a little bit of bleach to end up with that copper looking hair, or if you going blonde and higher, you want to get rid of your locks, just cut it. Don't comb it out, because baby, the elasticity isn't in the hair like that. So it's easier to break. It's not. Now, if you have thick locks, you might be able to comb it out. But baby, if you got them little skinny, you got sister locks and little skinny micro locks, and you got bleached blonde hair, cut it off. Comb it out. You'll be wasting your time, and you'll be so upset when you're done, because you're gonna be like, why is all this hair on the floor? Because y'all know color ain't healthy. Like, color is damaging to the hair. So the strand of your locks been compromised. Now you want to go bother it by trying to pick it out. That's more trauma, trying to pick it out. You think you're gonna have hair left? Child, let's come out. So going back to the, where was I? Going back, I don't know where I cut off my thought, but okay, let's move on to the next. So we back on conditioning the hair. Do it when it's wet. It's best to do it when it's wet. Can you do it dry? Yes. But I would only do it dry if you have a healthy set of locks. Like your locks are internally hydrated, meaning your locks aren't dry, your locks aren't hard, your locks aren't brittle. Your locks, if your locks, if they're healthy, you have healthy strands of hair, you've been hydrating, your diet's been good, and your locks healthy, your hair is healthy, you can comb it out dry and be fine, okay? But if your locks are not healthy, condition, it will reduce the breakage in the process, okay? So best to do it when it's wet, especially if your locks are unhealthy. But if it's healthy and you want to do it dry, you can. Because I've taken down help people take down locks without any conditioner or leave-in or anything like that, and it's been fine. And it also depends on the maturity of your locks, because if your locks are new, you can take it down. If your locks are thicker, you can take it down without the conditioner, but for the most part, condition. Moving on to the next one, the final step before I go into the demo, because I know y'all like, girl, just show us, let me see, just show me how to take down these locks, all this talking. But y'all know me, if you've been on my channel for a while, y'all know I gotta educate y'all, because I can't just tell y'all to do this, do that, and don't tell you the why. I'm a why person. I need to know the why behind it. Okay, I'm going off on a tangent. But anyway, if you're taking down your locks that uses the interlocking method, you can definitely do that wet or dry, because when you have the interlocking method, you can just follow the pattern of how it was locked, and it makes it easier for you to prevent breakage, retain your length. I was gonna say something else. Yeah, it just helps you to retain your length and prevent your hair from breaking as much, okay? So because following that pattern that it was locked in, it just think about a braid. When you take down a braid, if you've had braids and you've had it for like a couple of weeks, right? It stays in that, however, it stays in the way it was formed and put together, right? So now when you go take it down, if you're taking it down in the way it was put in, less tangling. So when it's less tangling, you don't have to detangle as much, and because you don't have to detangle as much, you don't have to worry about breakage, okay? So it tangles less. Like I mentioned earlier, you're able to retain your length and you're able to avoid breakage. So those are the tips that I have for you that I would like for you to consider when you're getting ready to comb out your locks, for those of you who are combing out locks, okay? All right, now this tool here, we use this tool for a number of things: to take down locks, to do some repairs, and so forth, right? But this tool is amazing for taking down locks because it gets right to it. Now, it is very pointy. This is the tool that you use to design and put lines and stuff in cakes, the decorating person. So if you go on Amazon, this will be under the baking section, right? Or if you just click on my Amazon list, it's on there. Anything I use, I'll put it on there, okay? So, but it's very sharp, y'all. So you want to make sure you take your time, because baby, you can do a number on your fingers. And make sure you can use the finger cots too. I believe that's on my Amazon list too, all my recommended stuff. You can use a finger cot. You can tape up your fingers to prevent the breakage. But I have a client who's taking down her daughter's locks because, these kids have locks when they're younger, and then they get into middle school and they like, oh, mommy, I want to lose hair, because they feeling themselves. So now mommy got to take down the locks. Okay. So, and she was struggling because she was using different things and it wasn't working. So I recommended this to her, and she started using it, and she sent me a message. She said, girl, this is expediting the process. This is so much easier to use, and it's quicker, all that stuff. So great tool. Okay, let me get into it. I'll just put the link for y'all, so y'all don't have to go search on my Amazon. I'll just put the link for y'all. When you go, just say take down lock tool or something. You just, if, you know. Okay, let's get into the demo. All right, y'all. So y'all remember when when my sister cut her hair? So we kept some of the hair for, you know, training purposes, practice type stuff, you know, all that kind of stuff. So this is my sister's hair when we cut it. Okay. This is the tool. This is the end of it, and this is where we cut it. So when I say it'll be good to cut the tips of the end of the tip, if your lock is like solid and closed off at the end, if you cut just, you know, just the tip to remove that solid piece, then you're left with something looking like this. Then it makes it easier to go in and comb out and comb out, right? Okay, so, but this is pretty soft, but I would still cut it, but you can still comb it out, you know, comb it out from here. But I would cut it only because you see how these tips are lighter than the rest of the hair. Child, I would just cut that off and start like right here. Okay. Same with this one, but this one is a little looser, so I can just go, when your ends are open, I can just go in and start unlocking. So when I say follow the pattern, this is what I'm talking about for people who are interlocked. You can see how the hair is kind of woven around the lock, right? So now I'm able to kind of follow how the hair is going around the lock. Hope you guys can see really well. Now, this is tedious now, but you're able to follow how it's going. Right now I'm doing it dry. And you see, even with me doing it dry, because some people just be like taking a comb and they comb it out like that. You ripping the hair. Taking the comb to comb it out like that, you're going to be ripping the hair, causing more trauma. So because this isn't attached to the head, it's taking a little bit more time. But you see how I'm able to retain more. I'm able to not break the strands of the hair because I'm following the pattern. And the tool helps too. Now, the newer the hair, the newer the hair closer to the scalp is newer for interlocking, so that will be less work. It won't take as... Y'all see how pointy this thing is? Got to be careful. You see why I say when the hair is colored, try to save it, because baby, okay, so now we're getting past the ends, getting closer. I want to really show you guys the pattern. We're getting past the just matted part. Now when we go into the, oh, and another thing, y'all, when y'all got locks and you color your hair, the hair in the keep in mind that the part that's being colored is the strands that are exposed. If you have strands inside of the lock that are not exposed, that part will not get colored. So when you go and comb out your locks, you're gonna have you know, just different color. Let's just say different color. Do y'all see this pattern right here? Y'all see how this hair kind of circling? You see how right here it's almost like a braid, just in between here. So now I can do this. I can do this, and then I see this hair coming right here. I can do this. This piece is going this way, so I can just separate that. So it's almost like taking down a braid. See that? I wish there was something was holding this. I would be able to show it better, but you see how right here is the opening to where technically if you were to take down a braid. And keep in mind I'm doing this dry, so if you use conditioner, it reduces breakage if you use conditioner, because her hair is colored. Okay. So you see how you can see the I guess the outline of the pattern. You can see that? Can you guys see that? I don't know how to, that's the best way I can describe it, y'all. So and then if you have hair that's matte, you know, bunching up and trying to mat towards the end, you can just gently go through and pull. You're gonna lose some, but try, you know, gently separate so you can retain your length. This is all we've lost so far, but keep in mind this was on the ends where it's like bunching. The closer we get to the root, the base, the less you lose. But y'all get the gist, right? Let me go. This was closer to the base. So you see how you can see the pattern more? The braided pattern more? You see that? You see how you can see the braided pattern more? When you get closer to that, it's easier to pick out. So let me show you. Be ready for buildup for y'all who don't be washing often. For those who don't shampoo their hair often, be ready for buildup, because baby. But you see how, look at this. I can easily just, and then I'm following it, right? Yeah, see the pattern? It's like a braid. Y'all see this? Go remove this leg, remove that leg, then remove this leg, remove that leg, remove this leg, All right, I'm not gonna do this whole thing, but y'all get the point, right? You need lots of patience when you're taking it out and you're trying to retain as much hair as you can. So you're trying to retain hair, follow the pattern. So now you see how this is closer to the, this is where more of the pattern was, and it's not a lot of hair coming out. But this hair is also not, this part is also isn't as bleached as this one. This one's more gold. This one's more red orange. This part wasn't lifted as high as this. Okay, you see yellow, more of the red. So this, all of this came out of here. But not bad for some colored hair, right? Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comment. And let's chat there. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.